webinar on January 7, 2023. Get 2 weeks of free trial by joining our courses. Benefits you'll get from us. To know more, feel free to contact us.
Hello everyone, good evening. So we are going to start 1 hour show and tell. This is going to be a very exciting show and tell, one of the advanced one. This is for our CloudOps student. So the focus is the people who knows about the CloudOps tools technology, as well as the Kubernetes monitoring and alert. They will be benefited from this show and tell. And with me, Fatema is going to actually do the show and tell. She'll be deploying on the AWS. So we are going to use the AWS as the cloud platform, and the Kubernetes for the alert and monitoring. We are going to use the Prometheus, and for the graph, means the visualization reporting, we are going to use the Grafana. These are the tools that are used today's in the software development team very heavily, super powerful and very the important tools for day in day out for the development tool and the operation tool. So without further delay, I am going to allow Fatema to start the show and tell. So you can start your screen. Let me go over this. Go ahead, Fatema. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, good evening. This is Fatema Mahmuda, and my today's presentation actually deploy Prometheus and Grafana to monitor Kubernetes cluster. So first I want to say something about Grafana and Prometheus. So what is Grafana? Grafana is a visualization tool. Monitoring dashboard is actually called Grafana, and Grafana works with third-party metrics exporter. I will explain later a little bit about the monitoring dashboard. And what is Prometheus? Prometheus is an open source system monitoring and alerting toolkit. So from the Kubernetes, we can see.
So Grafana actually just the display the reporting.
Graphs.
It gets all the reporting information from the Prometheus, because Prometheus is monitoring and alerting tools. Okay, continue.
Okay, so I have an image from Kubernetes. So we can see those are actually Kubernetes cluster. And we know from the Kubernetes, Prometheus have some agent, and those agent we call exporter. Those agent pull the metrics from the Kubernetes cluster and send it to the central Prometheus cluster. And Prometheus actually store the data and store this data in this storage. We can say volume or data storage. And when Grafana asks Prometheus for the data, like metric, Prometheus pull this data from the volume and send those data to the Grafana. And Grafana actually you visualize these metrics for us and show those metrics us for this monitoring dashboard. When deployment is successfully done, we can see this beautiful monitoring dashboard from Grafana. And this graphs board actually from the Prometheus. It's when deployment is done, we can see this beautiful the graph board from Prometheus. So this for this deployment, actually I need first I need to install kubectl, then AWS CLI, and I have to configure AWS CLI, and then I will install EKS and after that I will create Kubernetes cluster with a YML file. Then I will install Helm and then add the repositories and deploy Prometheus and Grafana. And finally, when deployment is done, I will test in the browser. So now I am starting the hands-on part. and this is my local host. So first I want to go to my main download folder. Then I will install AWS CLI. And I am doing it actually in my local host command line. I will install CLI to connect with AWS. So I know it will ask me for the password. Okay, so then I need to install this command for the package. And after that, this command to install package AWS package target one. Then I need this which AWS I need and the version. So this part is done. Now I want to install kubectl. And to download version 25, I need this command. I will copy this command and paste it to here. And then I can see the version, which version I am working on. So we can see my version is 1.25. It is good. So now I want to configure the AWS. So it asking me for the access key. AWS access key. I have this key here. Actually, it's configured because I did it on the local host earlier. So I am just copying and pasting this command. And I know I am on the US East 2 region. And format is JSON. So now I can check, actually verify is configure is okay or not. So I have to type this command AWS S3 ls. So looks like it's good. So now I want to install K8s. And first I will install the K8s. Where is it? These two command. To download K8s, I need these two command. So I'll copy it and paste it to here. It will install and move the temp K8s user and this local host. So this is done, and now I will go to the cluster, creating and mapping cluster. I need to go here and I need to create a YML file. Okay, I will copy, and for YML file, actually I not need this whole config file. I just need this part. Okay, so one more thing here. I don't need 10 nodes. I just need 2 nodes. So I will put 2 here, and I need the instance type E2 medium, and I like to change the node group name PG, just from my curiosity, and this is the region. I'm going to AWS and took my region. I know which region I am working on. Just for make sure, I want to put it from here, and I have to put the version version 1.22, and I like to change the name.
What is this version 1.22?
It will not work without 1.22
No, no. Where did this version came from?
from the gate.
For the case cutter?
Yeah, I guess Katal.
Okay.
I like to give the name DEBOPS DevOps cluster. So just to look on it. Name is good, version is the main thing here actually, and instance type. So US is 2 and version 1.22 looks like good, so I can save it. Okay, and after that, for creating cluster, I just need one command. It's interesting thing actually. Ksctl create -f cluster.yml. If I hit this command, I hope it will create a cluster for me from with this YML file. It will take actually 10 to 12 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. So we have to wait for that. It is actually creating so many things. That's why it's taking time, but
So while it is creating, so can you go one by one, explain them? So
yeah,
it
I
will
will try by.
okay.
Okay, it's already actually take the region. We can see I
Yeah,
am
I
in
know.
the US2 region, and
Let me explain. Think about I know nothing. What is region?
region actually where which area I am in the AWS cloud,
Sure. Good. Then go next one
and
means
then
means
it
all the data center in the east region,
is
and like they just call it region. Okay.
region,
And then
and it do not take time to take from YML file to take
no,
name. It do not take
then
time.
you are
It's
jumping. Explain me the all the public all this submit. What are this submit for?
subnet actually part of network. We call subnet,
Okay. So
and
how many
it's
types of submit is there?
it's a public subnet, private subnet. It's creating net gateway and public route table, a private route table, and it's creating stake. So
Sure. Sure.
stake actually a pile of something like a bundle of workload, bundle of file. Like it's creating BPC subnet, route table, internet gateway, then net gateway, then what is called auto
Just
scaling group. So we can call.
allow
Yes,
me to ask a question. Answer me exactly what I ask you. Okay.
Okay.
So what is the public subnet here? What does it do, and what the private subnet does?
Public subnet, what I know actually, it's public. Anyone can access this subnet to communicate, and the private subnet is private, so no one can access it. Like if we do not give the permission, we have to enter the private subnet to by this public subnet.
Good. So you can say that our all the front end facing application can go to the public subnet,
Mhm.
and then all the back end can go to the private subnet. Correct?
Private subnet, then it will
What
keep
class,
us
what
safe.
class of the IP address is showing 192.168? What type of IP class is this? Do you know?
Mm,
A, B, C, or CIDR?
Public subnet and public and private. So
What class IP address? A, B, C, or CIDR?
CIDR. Public is CIDR.
Okay. I'm just answering yes or no. Then the node group is okay. That's good. Using Kubernetes 1.22
True.
version, creating EKS cluster, and then uh, we'll create a cloud formation stack for cluster, and then so where is the internet gateway here, or the net gateway? Is there anything there? I don't see that.
Mm,
Is it creating an internet gateway now or no?
Internet gateway.
Or net
Yes,
gateway?
it
I'm
will
just
create
asking,
internet gateway.
is this creating an internet gateway now, part of the creation BPC creation? Because it is creating a BPC, right?
Yeah, yes. And those things are included with BPC
Okay, so it is creating now, correct?
creating now. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the cluster name, and then so what is
DevOps cluster.
so basically you are a Mac user,
Mm-hmm.
and you have downloaded and installed the AWS CLI, which is command line interface.
Interface.
The CLI is used to control a software or control a platform. In this case, using the AWS CLI, we are controlling, or we are actually sending the command to the AWS cloud, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then what we did after this? After that download and installation, what we did the next? Do you remember?
Yes, I did the AWS configure.
Okay, you did the AWS configure.
Configure. Yes.
You install the AWS control in the in your MacBook, right? I think you did
Yes.
something else too. What else did you do?
I'm sorry.
You did something else as well, like you downloaded something else. I can't remember. Go up.
Mm,
Go up.
I actually just installed AWS CLI and kubectl and EKS Scuttle.
Yes, yes, yes. So
These three
kubectl.
things
So kubectl. What is the purpose of the kubectl? What does it do?
to communicate with the cluster.
Okay. So is it like the API or the non-API? What does it do?
It is API, I believe.
It is the REST API or the SOAP API, or just what type of API is this?
Mm, I guess REST API.
Okay. All right. So what type of command is sent to the cluster? Do you know?
Mm,
With the kubectl.
Command line command, I think.
So
Actually, I don't know.
just the kubectl status node, right? Kubectl
Yeah.
status pod. Okay. So those are the API. Okay. So basically through the RESTful API using the kubectl, we are communicating with the cluster. Correct?
Cluster. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you know this. You can use the Postman as well to control the Kubernetes cluster. Do you know that?
I know little bit, but I actually never done it before.
Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. So we are creating the cluster on the AWS East Coast, right? East
East Coast
region. And
region.
our data center is Ohio, correct?
Yes.
Okay. and then we selected the two
Two nodes.
nodes are where the application will be running, correct? I mean the
Yes.
pod.
Mhm.
What are the pod here? Do you know what are the pods
Working load. Working
working
workload
workload? Means your application run on the pod.
run on the board.
Okay, and then what is inside a node? What is actually how a node works with the cluster, like the master plane?
Node actually took all the metrics.
Okay, what is the kube proxy? What does it do?
Q proxy. I'm sorry, I
Okay,
messed up.
how many things you need for a node to communicate with the master plane? Means if I say simple way, what is the prerequisite or requirements for a node to communicate with master? Do you know? Like, did you install the manual one? This
Yes,
is the managed. So in the do you
we
remember
managed one.
in the manual one, like when we did the when Shanawaz did yesterday, he did something, right? What he has done in the manual one, like the in the to add a node on the cluster, means on the master, what he has done, do you remember?
He actually added the policy and the roles. Those things he did manually.
No, I asked the question, so probably he got the droplet and then he
Oh,
installed the Docker, and then I think he ran the one command that master has provided, and at that time I think something else he has run, then the node become the part of the cluster. Am I right?
yes, I
You don't,
think
you
you
don't
are
remember?
right, but I actually forgot what have I did.
Yeah, I think that, but I'm asking you, do you know manually what you have to do to prepare a node to become part of the cluster? Means what installation you have to do or what
Mm,
configuration you have to do.
I have to install policies and roles and uh, configure and
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually know, but
You forget
right
that?
now I am
Okay,
cannot
okay,
explain.
no,
I know
no worry,
manual one.
no worry. So how what is the mechanism that as an outside client, me, using your cluster to access your front end, and through the front end I'm accessing the back end. What is the mechanism, like how actually the client is accessing your cluster?
With
Do
the
you know?
service,
Okay, what is this called?
load balancer,
Okay, is there
load
any
balan-
other
load
name?
balancer or external IP.
Okay, so what is ingress here? Ingress. Do you know what is ingress?
Yeah, I know, but right now actually I get confused.
Got it. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're just waiting. We're just checking. So for this, what application you are deploying? Are you going to deploy any application?
I'm deploying this monitoring tool, Prometheus and Grafana,
I know,
to
but
monitor the cluster, Kubernetes cluster.
correct. But are you going to deploy actual application like the front end, back end, anything, or
I
any
know.
like
Hmm.
no, no,
No,
or yes,
no.
no? Why not why you do not want to deploy the front end or the back end?
Actually, we call Grafana is a front end and Prometheus as a back end. In this way, I am deploying front end and back end.
Got it. Okay. So the whole Kubernetes is a cluster, and we
Mhm.
need to monitor the Kubernetes. So that's the reason um, the Prometheus is actually grabbing all the data under the hood, because you're implementing the Prometheus and giving this data to the Grafana, so Grafana can show, means the visualization graph.
Yeah.
But that's the like a whole infrastructure. But we need to actually deploy the application. Means our two-tier can be the, or any other test application can be. Because at the end of the day, we are actually going to monitor the application and the services. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Because the why, do you know what is the importance of monitoring the cluster or the application and the services?
Because what I know, the data are numerical. We can't see those metrics, and metrics we call the monitoring data. So when Grafana take the metrics, it visualized and organized, and then create a graph and show it to the board.
Sure. So basically, think about the we are running an application. There is a front end, there is a back end, and think about there is a, like the 100,000 of the users are using, and it is on our cluster, Kubernetes cluster, and there is an operation team involved, there is an actual client involved, there is a IT involved, and this cluster consists of the like a, maybe like the 20, 30, or 50 the server. So now we have a actually two things like the mandatory. One is I need to ensure my cluster is running very smoothly. That's the number one. It's called the infrastructure monitoring. Another aspect is I need to monitor my application and the services, because my operation team, means the business operation team, rely on this. Because if in case my customers, means the application I developed, if they are not able to use it, they will actually be unhappy. Okay, if it is a banking application, customer will not be able to pull the money, withdraw the money, deposit the money. So now we need to monitor the our front end and the back end. Why? So if there is any occurrence happen, what type of occurrence? Example, one of the part is down, one of the node is down, one of the service is slow, one of the service is broken, right? Anything can happen. In this case, there is a large, the cluster, means there are so many computers and the server like the consist, it will be difficult for being a human being to actually go look each of the server and find out the issues. That's very cumbersome and is impossible. And for that reason, we are actually implementing the monitoring, alerting, just to suck the data, and we are using the Grafana to show the business. Okay, so this part is the important. So business always need to see the data. Why? Because business actually message the data, they actually formalize the data, and they see what is actually customer doing on my application, which functionality the customers are using, and then what type of promotion business can provide in the next couple months. So this is the reason only possible through the Grafana, because from the Grafana monitoring like the all this graph, business makes the decision. So this is the reason Grafana is important. So Grafana is for the UI, means user interface, graphical interface, and Prometheus is kind of actually collecting the data, monitoring and the alerting data, and pass to the Grafana for the visualize display. So can you say that next time?
Yes,
I hope so.
I will
If
try. I
you
hope.
need, you need to you need to watch this part, because that's the important part. And of course, you will not be involved to make the reporting. You will not be involved with how this report works. You will be ensuring that your Grafana is fine, your Prometheus is fine. There are from the business areas, and there is where is like a business people are very expert, because this is their application. They kind of provide the requirements, what type of like the data they want to see on their screen. From the business side, there will be many types of like the reporting they want to see. A manager want to see the different reporting, a like the leader want to see the different reporting, a like the normal like the team member is want to see the interested to see the different reporting. So all this reporting you can make from the Grafana, because Grafana is actually the tools You can, once you are getting the data from your cluster, from your application, from your services, now actually in the UI, means the graphical user interface, on the Grafana interface, you can actually start making the reporting. And then based on the reporting, you are actually uh, doing whatever you want to do. Okay, so what is doing the cloud formation is doing here? You can see the cloud formation is stack here. Can you explain me what is the cloud formation? Do you know what is cloud formation?
I'm sorry.
Okay, if I'm not wrong, the cloud formation is AWS service similar to the Terraform. Okay,
Oh,
Terraform works all the cloud, means they have they support all the provider. AWS has a service which is called the cloud formation that actually automate the AWS services. You got this idea?
mhm.
So that also support the, I think, JSON and the YAML, I can't remember. So basically, if you want to automate the AWS services, means you want to create the EC2, VPC, all of these things, the IAM and then the S3, everything you can do using the cloud formation. I think that's something is doing there. Okay. Okay. So do you want to go to the? I think we're good. Go to the AWS now, and you will see your cluster is creating now. Right?
Yeah, cluster is creating, I think.
Let's go. Let's check it out.
This is take
Yeah,
and
it's getting creating, right? Is this one? No,
yeah, it's this one, DevOps cluster.
it's getting. So we selected a 1.22 version, which is showing here, and then you need to explain me while it is creating there. Explain me each of these things. What do they do?
It's creating resource, the nodes, those
So there are
pods,
many resources. What are these resources here?
AWS node pod nodes and pods, and if we click here, we can see. Oh,
So
not really
no,
though.
the go to the resource.
Uh-huh.
The resources as the EKS cluster is creating, means the getting ready.
Ready.
It has some
Replica set.
own like own resources that needs to run the cluster, and this is at this. Okay, some
All
will
those
be
are resource.
the I'm talking about the resources. Yes, yes. The some of the functionality versus the resource are two different things. And compute means, I think you EC2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah, correct. EC2.
Okay. So you can see the cluster information from the cluster features. You can find out the service and the networking information, and you can get the config and the secret information. So it's all this, I think, the related to the EKS cluster. Correct?
Yeah, yes, by correct.
Okay. Can you go to the compute, please? Compute tab.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we declared the two EC2, right? So
Mm-hmm.
both EC2 is coming here, and they have the name here, and and they are not ready yet, right? The status is not ready yet, so we can actually do the, and go back to the networking, please. Networking tab.
Yes.
Okay, so now in the BPC we have the BPC name, and we have a 1 2 3 4 6 subnet, right?
Yeah, six subnet.
And
And
the
I think there are some
right?
in private subnet too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, though there is a cluster security group is there, additional
Yeah,
security groups
additional
are there,
security.
and the API server endpoint access is public, and then the all the 0.0.0.0/0, so is open.
Open to all traffic,
Okay, that's
for
good.
the all, allow all traffic.
Good. So now go to the add-ons. So do you know what is add-ons means?
No,
Okay, that's fine. Go to the authentication.
there is nothing in
Okay,
authentication.
do you know why we do this
Can you by
authentication?
explain little bit in authentication?
Yep. So say an example, in the TS for you are typing your username and password, right?
Mm-hmm.
In all the large corporation, they have like a thousand of employee, thousand of thousand. They have hundreds of applications. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what they do to get into their actually the system, they have an you can call the authentication service, or you can call the like the what is called the user check-in process, whatever. But in general, we call the authentication gateway or authentication service. In this authentication, there are multiple way you can actually get into the system. If we use the Windows, they use the Active Directory. If we use the Linux, they use the LDAP. So they're like this, so many type of authentication. So on your cluster, you can actually implement the authentication. OIDC is one of the authentication provider. Okay,
Right.
there is a SAML, there is a OIDC, OAuth 2.0. There are different type of authentication. OIDC, one of the popular, the nowadays the many companies are using. I think you know already know the logging already, right?
Yeah,
Log,
I know.
all the log will be collected there. And update history. Update history, is it the cluster update? What is here? Okay, there is nothing.
Nothing. The cluster has not been updated. But
Okay,
cluster information,
okay, good. So
cluster
let's go
history.
back to the overview. Let's go back to the console to see what we did so far. Okay, 23 minutes ago, cluster is opening. So to create a cluster based on your configuration means whatever, if you say declare you need the 100 of node, so of course your cluster will take couple hours probably, right?
Yes, it will take time, more time.
Got it. Okay, okay, makes sense. So can you go back to the terminal, please?
Okay, yeah,
How
it's
is that?
created. So now actually we can see the cluster information. So now I will run this command kubectl cluster info kubectl cluster info.
And
Okay,
if
so
you
it
don't
should.
mind, can you please run the command from the top, the clear
Yeah,
this
yes.
and make the screen bigger, please?
Mhm.
What happened? Okay, make the screen bigger. The font size should be bigger.
Yeah, I tried, but it's
That's fine. Okay, go ahead. Now you can continue, please. You're fine.
okay. So now I want to install Helm.
Okay. So what is Helm? What does it do?
Helm is the package manager for Kubernetes,
Good. Thank you.
and I can install Helm with these three commands. So I have to run this command one by one,
Good.
and then this command, then finally this command. I think it will okay. It's already latest. Helm is already latest one.
Okay.
Okay, so
So,
now
so I have a question now. So where is this Helm is installing? Is it installing in?
actually I am doing in localhost. So
Okay.
I practiced it before, and it's I installed this thing, so
Got it.
it's already there.
Okay.
I am just running this command, but it
Okay. So
anyway we can delete this from localhost by. Can you please
we don't
search?
need to. we- Why do you need to uninstall it?
Not need to for the show and tell.
No,
It's
you're good.
showing. Okay.
You're good. Okay, you're good. Continue, please. So we need to
Okay.
install the Helm on the machine that we are controlling the cluster. So we already
Class.
installed it. We are good. Okay, so let's continue, please.
Okay. So now I want to add the repositories Prometheus and Grafana. So for that, oh, I will create a namespace later, but first I will add this, and I think these two are added already.
Clear the screen. Okay, is already exist.
Exist because I did it earlier.
That's fine because installing is not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Installing the Helm and in the add the package. Yeah, I don't think it is a big deal. Okay,
Okay.
but you are running the command. It is exist, which is good. Okay,
Yeah, it exists already.
we did the Prometheus and we did the Grafana.
Grafana
Before that,
and
we install the Helm.
Helm. And now
Okay,
I need to update the Helm repo. Oh, is where it
okay,
can. Okay. It is Helm repo update update. It's like apt update. So
okay,
it's good. We can see happy helming. So now I can connect and I can work with Helm.
okay.
And now I want to create a namespace, and based on this namespace I will do everything. And I am actually changing this namespace name. I like to give the name monitoring.
Okay.
Monitoring, monitoring. So namespace monitoring is created. I can check it now. Okay, ECTL get NS. NS means actually namespace
Okay.
get. So its monitoring namespace is here, and those actually default namespace
Those when you created the cluster, it came by default
by
to run
default.
the cluster. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, and now I will install Prometheus in this namespace.
Okay,
Okay, just let me edit, then I will explain. I
so
need to put my monitoring namespace.
that is correct.
Monitoring. So I am installing Prometheus in this namespace
Mhm.
with this storage class with
Okay,
this value actually. It will deploy in monitoring namespace, and
okay,
it's deployed. We can see it's deployed monitoring, and this URL we have to put in the Grafana. So we can see all information by using this command. So it will show us all about the monitoring namespace, about Grafana, yeah, Prometheus, I'm sorry. And again, I have to change the name.
Shahnaz asked me to ask you a namespace, even I forget it. So what is namespace?
Namespace actually space. We can have multiple pods and nodes, but we can put all together in one namespace. Like those are will be isolated separately, but namespace will be the same.
Got it.
So it will show us all about this deployment. We can see the pods. It's actually running, and services, and daemon set. So daemon set actually kind of deployment, and how many node we have in this namespace. Daemon set help us to deploy uh, all pods containers in all nodes, and deployment, and those are replicas sent. So after that, okay, just if we want to just see the ports, we can run this command bactl get
After you install the after we
ports.
actually install the Prometheus on the monitoring the namespace, and this is all the by default came with it. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay.
when
Got it.
deployment is successful, it all together came from the deployment.
Okay, so another question that Shanawaz asked me to ask you, what is exporter?
Exporter are agent.
Okay,
Matrix exporter we call agent.
okay, got it.
And Okay,
if you
those are
say it
four.
correct or not.
So then I am going to Grafana. Actually, here we can put this deployment in a file, but I know what to do, so I am not doing the any save. I am not saving this deployment actually, so I know the information what to do.
So as we know that the Prometheus is collecting the data, I think the data from where? Where do you install the Prometheus, like the agent?
What is the question by? I am sorry.
Where do we install the Prometheus agent?
With Grafana.
I know it's a node, right? Because
Mhm.
the Prometheus is collecting the alert information or the data
No,
from the nodes, right?
no,
So how it works, you need to install the agent in each of the nodes.
no, each of the nodes, and it's come together with the deployment agent.
Okay, go ahead.
I think maybe I'm wrong. So
Mm.
in here actually I not need to change all the URL. I just need to change the namespace name, and that it will be fine.
In this case, monitoring, right? Our namespace name was
Yes,
monitoring.
monitoring. Uh, it's actually good. I hope.
What is,
Oops.
but
What?
the name is Prometheus there still.
Oh, this is a YML file, so I need to save it. Sorry, I need to create a YML file. I am sorry.
No worry.
Okay.
Oh, you run the command on the
Yeah.
like. I see the problem. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
We have to store the in this file. Okay,
Yeah, in this file.
we have to store the configuration in the file. Okay, got
In
it.
the file, and change the URL.
Mm-hmm.
Now actually I need to change the namespace name.
Got it. But there is one is a name is Prometheus. You don't have to change that.
No, we not need to change those.
I don't know that. Okay.
I actually done this
Please
before.
ask.
Didn't
I
done
don't
this
know.
before. I didn't change those, and it works good. So
Sure.
okay,
All right.
okay. So now I need to help install Grafana.
Okay. Got it. So do you have to create another? No. We have to
No, I
create.
don't need to.
Oh, okay. We have to create the namespace name Grafana.
Yeah, just we need to put this file inside the grafana.yml file.
Okay, got it. We need to enhance the configuration file. Got it.
Mhm. And
Again,
here
we need to
I
change
need
the.
to just value just grafana.yml, and if I want to change the password, I can just delete it, and what I like to do
You
password,
can put your own password. Okay.
own password. So I am giving just password.
Okay. Sure. But do not use this type of password in any for demonstration purposes. You're okay, but you just cannot use password. Has to be complex always. Okay. Continue.
Okay, and again I need to change the namespace name. Monitoring. So I hope it's good. I changed the name and password and value just grafana.yml, what we actually integrate in this grafana.yml file. So it will take and type is load balancer. I showed it's good.
I have a question. Why we did the two times? We
Mm,
do we have to do the like we added one time the some configuration, the second time we added the second configuration in the same file. Why we did the two times? Do you know?
mm, no, I am actually confused with the question. I did not get it.
You added the configuration in the grafana.yaml two times, correct?
Oh no, two times actually. First time I did a mistake. I ran this file like a command, so it doesn't work
Okay, okay, got it. The another question: why do we use the GP2 storage?
because AWS storage is GP2. Am I correct? Actually,
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know the answer. And the Shana was asked.
GP2 is how much I know. I believe GP2 is AWS storage.
Yeah, he said nice. Good job.
Okay, okay. So it's a deployer. So now uh, I want to see the services. KUBECTL get SVC from MONITORING monitoring. kubectl get SVC dash and monitoring. So I can see the services, and here is a service we are looking for, the load balancer. So if I go to the AWS, so where is my, okay, here is. So if I go to the EC2, we should see a load balancer here. Yeah, it's came, but I want to do a hard refresh. And if I take the load balancer, we should see the Grafana's dashboard is everything good. Yeah, so it's successful. We can see. I just need to give the admin name and password. It's taking time.
Yep.
Okay, so admin and password we know. Yeah, it's good. So this is the Grafana's dashboard, and we can do actually lot of things, but I don't know that much. How much I know, I can try. Okay,
Yeah, as
so
I mentioned, the dashboard are used by everyone, development team, operation team, IT team. So everyone use this because from the UI, the user interface, it is easier to look things, like in a large scale that we cannot just see from the command prompt CLI. Okay, go ahead, please.
okay, so it's actually came from do you remember by I put the URL in grafana.yml. It's
Yes,
actually came from there,
got it.
and
Yes.
we can see the URL and my namespace name. So it's default. Okay, so if I go here and import, and if I give this and load it, and if I go here and put Prometheus and import it, we can see the real dashboard. We can monitor cluster from this dashboard. So we can see this is monitoring board dashboard we have from Grafana, and we can monitor how many nodes we have. Okay, where is the, okay.
The Shana was asked one more question.
Mhm.
Why don't we use the Prometheus instead of Grafana? Let me see.
Because it's Prometheus. Yes, I am working on right now. I am on working on Grafana, so that's why it's Grafana. I deployed Grafana and
I think so. You should answer the question is the
mhm.
Prometheus is for the alert and monitoring.
Oh,
Prometheus does not, I believe Prometheus does not have any like the user interface like this,
mhm.
beautiful interface. Grafana has it.
Has
And
it
Grafana get the data from the actually Prometheus.
Prometheus?
That's the so three they are the tools they do the different thing. As you mentioned, Prometheus is sucking the data from the back end means from your cluster and giving the data to your Grafana so the Grafana actually show you the visualize your nice data,
Nice
right?
data.
So it
Yes.
says the raw data is coming and the from the Grafana is showing in a user format that the user can easily can see it from
See
many nodes in a central dashboard.
dashboard.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so we can monitor our cluster from here. How many memory uses and CPU, and CPU means actually central processing unit and cluster. What is called uh, file system. Okay, file system uses. So we can see it from here. And if I go back, and there are actually a lot of things we can do if we know. We can set our dashboard, and this is the URL and the general folder, and we can change those things.
Sure. So the question is, we talked about the monitoring. What is alert? What do we do with the alert? What does it mean exactly?
Mm. Alert, I think I know, but I cannot explain it right now. Alert means if something is going over, we can alert, put an alerting some
Very nice.
what
Now
we
you did
call
answer
it.
correctly. Means if my processor goes above 50%, it should send me an alert on the monitoring screen. So that's exactly. If my storage is over 70%, it should create an alert, send an alert. Same, if my memory is over 50%, it should create an alert. So yes, so you create the alert on the like on the processor, storage, memory, because these are your actually the hard coded infrastructure, can be the virtualization or can be the physical. So if you see the user experience is not great, you can come and see on this dashboard if your processor is up and running smooth, if your storage is mean the normal, if your memory is normal. If any of these are not normal, in this case you can actually the correlate what actually users are experiencing. Okay, so this actually dashboard helps you what actually operations and business side is complaining. What type of complaint? User is not able to see the data. User is see system is slow. When user log in, it just throw the 502, right? So you can come and actually cross verify on the same dashboard actually how my infrastructure is running. Good. He asked one more question. We almost done. He asked the question, how can we get the alert? How we can get alert? You know that?
We have to put the alert, then we can get a alertment when anything is access going
Sure.
over there.
I think he asked if you know how to set it up from here. I think you answered already. Hey, you did very good job. I actually asked you a lot of question. I'm very happy that you answered all this. At least you tried. Very nice. I'm excited to see the next show and tell. And then how many show and tell do you have
Mm,
remaining?
I think I have left one, and
Okay.
I will do more if I can.
Oh, you will
Yes.
be doing more. The December will be a lot of show and tell. All the advanced things are coming, so hopefully you'll learn a lot. Do you have any question for me?
Uh, from
For me, do you have any
oh
question for
no,
me?
No, and we can refresh it, and
Okay.
we can set up the time. It's
So so
Yeah,
basically, the way you test the you if you go, do you want me to put some load on your system?
yeah,
The
sure.
way you put the load on your system, you can simply install the Nginx on your node and give me the IP address. I can send the 5,000 requests from the postman, and you will see your system will be like the will be changing differently. That's
Oh,
actually we do the load testing. Okay, so I will show
okay,
you one more again later. So
okay,
all you need to just I have to hit your application as hard as possible, and then you can see the impact on your dashboard. So this is done by the actually the performance and the load test engineer. I know this because I was an architect. So
okay.
that's the way you actually test the system.
Mhm.
At this moment you will not see anything because you are not using your cluster at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I we have actually one more thing to test.
Sure. Go ahead.
So I wanna try that one too.
Okay, sure.
If I go to the import and okay, I
Oh,
think this
okay, got
number
it. Yeah,
and
yeah, got it.
load it. Oops, it's actually
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you can add so many. Yes, I know what you're doing. Yep.
okay. So I think it's alerting supported.
So there is so many like the I think I forgot the exactly what is this called. There is so many type of graphs or something. You can actually bring them here, so you can actually customize your like the dashboard. I believe if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it is what happened actually. Okay, I can go from here now.
Okay.
Okay, data source and okay, it's alerting again. So I can try actually import and simple thing. Just need to put this here. Oops, it's could not find a valid.
Why not you go to the Grafana and get the ID? It's the yeah bunch up like the ID you have to. Okay.
Oopsie, I'm back.
It's fine. I know what you're trying to do. I got the idea. Yes.
Okay, so can I go back and the port forward with the Prometheus?
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
so here I want to now I want to do actually port forward for the Prometheus KUPACTL uh, port FORWA port forward dash N monitoring pod actually first I need kubectl get ports dash N monitoring. Okay, so now I can give I we can put actually any uh, pod. I'm just giving the Prometheus server one
Okay.
and port forwarding. I am putting the port 990. Okay, kubectl port forward station monitoring and pod name
Okay.
looks good. So if I forward, if I go to the browser
Hmm.
and okay, I'll cut it and see hello, it's actually came. It's knows localhost and port, and this is a Prometheus graph. So if we go here, we can see the targets
Okay.
and um,
We can see our all the yep all the I
all
think the
this
and
endpoint and those things actually I cannot explain. Okay, and if we go back
then okay.
and if I
Which part is next? You don't have to explain. I can help you at least.
cube underscore pod, if we want to the pod creation time, I think okay, we need to go to the queue pod created, and if we execute it, and it show us the creation time, but where is the time? Okay, we can see pod created, all pod created, creation time is actually this. Okay, so we can find it out when I created this pod. So if I take this number and I go to the browser and Unix,
The data format you saw, what is this data format called?
Unix epoch time converter,
Okay. No,
and if I
the data format you saw. This is the timing. I understood that.
mhm, mhm.
The Prometheus, that's the part. What is the query? Do you know?
Yeah, I know, but I forgot.
Is it? I
Did
don't know.
I find it
Is it
out?
the keep here? I don't know. Shanawaz, is
Effective
it the keep
time.
here?
Mm,
He probably knows. I forgot that. He asked which format we get data on, what query language it supports. That's it. Okay. He will answer.
okay, I don't know, Shabai. Please answer for me so I can learn.
Oh, no, okay, that's fine. He's answering. Okay, so go ahead. You continue.
Okay, so this is the if I put the number here and time stamp to human date.
Oh, ProQL.
Yes.
Prometheus
So
query language, I believe. Okay.
and relative time. It's not exactly when I created. It's just related time.
Okay. Relative time. Okay.
Yeah,
Very
relative time.
close as possible. Okay. Okay. Good.
Close. So
Nice.
if
Nice.
I go to the browser and actually I have to back and if I check kubectl get pods. Okay, I created 44 minutes ago. It's related actually. And again, if we go here and I think pod information, we have something pod information. Yeah,
Okay.
pod info. If we execute it, we can see the pod information from here.
All the pods, right?
Yeah,
All the pod
all the
information.
pods.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
And lots of things actually we can
We can do from here.
yeah in
We
from here.
get
And
the same.
running, I think running, we have something status running,
Okay.
and if we execute it, we can see the pod is running or not,
Okay.
which pods are running, and if we put not running, or which pod is waiting, we just need to put here, I think wait. So waiting, we can see the which pod are waiting to the be
Waiting
in,
for
yeah, waiting
our.
for running.
Okay.
So
For
those
the initial.
actually I tried with the monitoring and monitoring cluster with Prometheus and Grafana, and this is from today for me.
Very nice. Good job. Very nice. Thank you. I sincerely enjoyed your session, and I was here really full time, which is good. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you for your time to watch, and a very good question, Shana was. He actually push you to make sure you know what you're doing, so which is very good practice. And we will bring the next show and tell anytime soon this week. Until then, Fatima, thank you. Have a good night.
Webinar on January 7th, 2023. Get 2 weeks of free trial by joining our courses. Benefits you'll get from us. To know more, feel free to contact us.
Hey, thank you everyone again for your time to watch and ask all the good questions. If you are a DevOps engineer, CloudOps engineer, if you want to know the whole stack, this was one of the great stack that as being DevOps engineer, CloudOps engineer on AWS or any other cloud. This is very good one, very powerful one. If you have the full concept and you know why, and actually you will be a great engineer and any application you deploy, you will be actually doing very well.